Oh, ladies and gentlemen, October 12th. There you go. I'm goddamn, I'm sore. My hand sakes. My back hurts, my thighs. Oh. And when you're a man with big old beefy thighs like I am, when they hurt, there's a lot of hurt there. Like, maybe you consider therapy levels of hurt. But it is what it is, and we got some more work to do today, so we're out here working. It smells wonderful. It just smells like sawdust and just wood and earthiness. I love it. What we're gonna do today, I'm gonna go inside and get my ladder. We'll see what we can do about that. And we're gonna do that before we frame in the walls, you know. But that's the majority of the project today. Again, move some of that crap. We'll frame that wall for sure. When that one's done, that's going to help me finish this. Because while we've got the wire run, we need to get it on the switch. And the switch is going to go over there. So it's got to go breaker to switch to fixtures and back. So somebody probably saw that and thought, wait a minute, you forgot something. And I didn't forget. I just wasn't there yet. So that's the plan there. We have some insulation left over from a project I did with my parents when they built a wall and put in some new windows. So I might run over and grab that. And then when we get that done, I can insulate these first couple of bays. Because we're not going to be doing anything else over there. The gable window, we can put that in from the outside, the gable vent. And really, we could go back, pretty dang far. I'm not running any wire for the outlets up in the ceiling. It's all going to go along the walls. So that's not something we're going to need to be concerned about. Yeah, so it's a little cold out here. I would bring in a little heater, but that's going to take a lot of juice, and we're going to be cutting boards, and all the amps that thing draws plus a heater would be a little much. Plus, it's a radiant heater, and by the time it actually warmed up, I'd probably be mostly done for the day. So, we ain't going to worry about that. First thing we got to do is get some power. I hate running it through that window, because then I got to leave the window open, and it's cold. I don't know. See that tree out there? It's not as rainy as yesterday, but it is colder and just as windy. But we're going to need some power. So let's get our saw and everything set up. And figure it out, dude. Changed my mind. We're going to deal with this first. So, it's got to be attached on the outside somewhere, because I can't do anything with it from in here. And I don't know that I've ever paid much attention. Unless it's like nailed down here at the bottom. Something. Let's shed some light on the subject. Nope. Told you. Well, let's go outside and take a look. Oh, this feels great on my legs. Up and down the ladder. I decided to do this first since that's going to be where the saw gets set up. And I'm trying to conserve my energy a little bit. So instead of moving the saw and then moving it again, we're just gonna do this first. Yep. If we want to take that off from the outside, or we can just get up there and try and fix it. Let's get the ladder, get up there and take a peek. You know, it's windy. So it's better. The gap is noticeably smaller. We'll fix that from the outside because we're gonna have to recover that insulation, and we're gonna staple it up. I have a hand stapler. It's garbage. I bought this to replace it, and it's been amazing. Those are fine. Not the ideal staples for this job, but they'll work. And I might have to move that power cord from up there. Yeah, we're just gonna put it in the bay, staple it to the sides. There's a little, this piece here, this little flap. That staples up right there. And then just really, compression is what holds it in. There's enough there. We might get 2, we might get 3. If I get 2, I'll be happy. If I get 3, I'll be real happy. But yeah, I ain't expecting a whole lot, just because I think those come in 8 foot, and as we've discussed, we've got 11 here, so don't know. Maybe get this unplugged, plug that staple gun in, and then we'll get up there and we'll take a look at how to do that. Okay, so we've got it tucked up under this one. It's pushed up way back in there, as far back as I can get it. This part's still hanging, that's fine. What you want to do, get your paper. You want it to cover, because this piece, the piece that's going in this next bay, its paper will go about half on top of this one. Get your fastening system of choice. You know, every foot, 16 inches, whatever you feel good about. Don't smash it best you can. You want to keep it relatively fluffy. It insulates more if it's fluffy, but you're going to get some situations where it's just going to get a little goofy, like in here, especially because I have this here. But that's okay, man. We'll just do this one. We'll do, you can see it's not going to quite go all the way. So we'll do a full one. We'll pull the next one out. We'll cut how much we need for that. We'll do another full one. We'll cut off the same piece. I think there's 4 in there. So we should be able to get 3, maybe 3 full ones. Ain't gonna make a huge difference, but some's better than none, man. Where is it? Could have swore it was in there. Nope, that's the pencil. That's screws. It should be in there. I don't remember taking it out of there. Need my knife, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, there it is. Why did I put it in there? Okay, so we've got 4 feet from there to past up there in the overhang, whatever you call it. I can't think of it at the moment. So I've got 2 more sheets, 2 more pieces. We can do 1, 2. We can finish 2. We won't have enough to finish a 3rd. That's fine. I'm also going to cut these a little short because that very end is going to be so squished because of the slope of the roof. We're going to cut it about 2 inches short. So we're going to cut it 3 foot, 10 inch. So from the end, 310, right about there. So that's where we're going to cut. I said previously, try not to smush this. In the case of cutting it, it's fine to smush it because you can kind of fluff it back up. You don't want to smush it when it's up there because it's harder to sort out. Sorting out, straighten out, sort out, figure it out, dude. Couple ways to do this. Method 1. If you're doing walls, this method's real easy because you've already got a large flat surface to cut on. It's a wall. Method 2, the method we're going to apply words. We need where we're going to cut to be on something solid. Put your knife out as far as it'll go. You're not going to be able to do this in one go. Do it 2 or 3 passes. Once you get through the paper, which is not very hard to do, you can kind of go 2 or 3 times and it'll peel apart on its own. That's going to be real hard for me to do one-handed, so just trust me that that's what I'm doing. Okay. Almost 3. Pretty close. Vacuumed, got the saw set up, dug up some old floor coverings from inside the house, some leftover carpet from a project at someone else's place, old rug. Back in here, that is some AstroTurf. And I may take some time to work back there and get that out and put it out here just to cover the floor, to keep it a little more clean, keep it protected. It's still kind of nasty outside, and put that back down. You don't want to get water and dirt and all this crap on it if you can help it. Speaking of, see some right there. Now, this is not going to need a lot of instruction, description, whatever. I got a nail right there I need to get out of the wall. What we're going to do, basically, we're going to take one of these big old long 2x4s here, and it's going to go like that all the way. We'll have another one to cut pretty much right where this stops. So stagger our joints is not totally necessary, but we'll put the full piece there, we'll put the shorter piece there. That's almost the right size. And then we'll screw it down, we'll do our verticals, and the verticals will go from that plate to that plate, footer to header, every 16 inches. I'm thinking of what to do with this mess. I really want to just rip it out of the wall, and I'm going to have to tear the wall up so much to get it out of there. I don't think we're going to do that. I think we'll just cover it. So, there's a screw I missed. Must be where the battery died. Or the old bit broke or something. Anyway. Get this done. See if we can get lucky enough that when we space our studs, we'll miss this. And I'll just put a board over the top of it. That'll be fine. I do need to go get some more of that foam insulation so we can do the gaps along the floor. We want to do that before we do this because this will cover that. So I'm going to do that. Might go get myself some lunch today since I got to go out and it's almost lunchtime. I feel like I've gotten very little accomplished today as compared to yesterday. Not being awake at 6 a.m. has that effect on me. Yeah, it's 11:15. That's lunchtime enough. So, that's the plan. One thing, when we start our studs, we're going to start on that wall and work this way. Because we have this to worry about, I don't want to put one, we're not going to put one here. So if we're lucky, we'll make one work, but we might get a 16 that's going to stop, well out of the way of that. And if that works, that's going to be great. Ain't no air coming around that. That makes me happy. Yeah, we need to fill these and all of that. One of these is still going outside to that light right there. So we'll cut it, see if we can pull it through from the outside and do something different with that. That's fine, ain't gonna worry about that. Yeah, it's kind of how I'm feeling about the whole thing right now. Just yeah. So step one, let's go get some foam, get that in there. Step two, lunch. Step three, come back and get to work. I want to get this wall at the very least will be done today. Because once that's done, I can put, we'll have a light. There's going to be an outlet on that wall. I can get an outlet, get the electrician out here to do the breaker setup and all that. And then I won't have to run an extension cord out through the window anymore. We'll have power in here. I might even bring that heater out and just keep it in and turn it way down low. Just to keep it a little higher than 46. That'll be fine with me. I got a battery, it's got a charge, and yeah. So I think that's the idea. Yeah. Hey, look at that. Well, it's the skeletal structure of a wall. My God. New breaker box. We're in. I could squeeze one up in there. I might even do it. You're not the boss of me. Do whatever the hell I want. Foam did what foam do. I should have planned that out a little better. And what I should have done is I should have sprayed it and then put the thing down and then screwed it to the floor. And then that would have, like I did here, I sprayed it when it was still wet. I put the plate down. So that forced the foam to expand down and out instead of up. This will be fine. I ain't worried about it. We'll get the knife, trim that all off. Did all of that. Did all of two there. Did a big hole there, you probably noticed. And that took 2 cans. No Fruit Loops, just the 2 cans. Great stuff. They were out of great stuff. So I bought this, not a sponsor. And same stuff. It was cheaper and on sale, so that made it cheaper. But yeah, working out great. Let's take a look at this breaker box now that it is installed. Probably should have put some washers on it, but I didn't. So tons of knockouts on the top, the side, can't see that way, the bottom. There's a knockout in each corner on each side for a screw. Just knock those out. Put your screw in. I got this one up. I put this in, attached it to that. I put this in, attached it to that. I could almost go back a little farther. These are recessed, so it doesn't want to go back all the way. So I might pull it out a little bit, loosen the screws, and just put a block behind it. It's already fairly well spaced, so I think we're okay. What was I gonna say? Oh, so once this is in, that's obviously your space. You make the space to match the thing. If you can use the thing, it's even better. And then to help with the spacing of the others, I just cut a chunk that is that size. And then, It's a little off here, but you do it at the bottom, you do it at the top, you keep going. Pardon me. My God, I'm gonna die. Get your drill, put a bit in it, pre-drill all your angled holes. It makes it so much easier, so much better than fighting with it every time. Don't try and fight with it if you don't have to. Switched over to the Bosch for the day. We see how the Bosch handles everything. It's got longer screws than what we were using yesterday by about a 1/2 inch or so. And it's been I got no complaints. It slipped real bad on one screw, but the battery died. So that was not the bit's fault. And I've got a little bit of a screw poking out here. So I've got a oscillating saw. Maybe we'll cut that off. Probably won't. But yeah. Here's how you load up your breaker box. Here's your breaker. This is a 20 amp. It says 20. This will be going to outlets. And see on the bottom up here, there's like this little hook kind of thing. And then over here, there's kind of this pinchy bit. Your hooks go on these. And then your grabber goes on those. That's a breaker installed. Just like that. Sorry. That's how we do. Neutral, hot. If you got a second hot, you run it there. I think. Never wired up a breaker box. I know we got to put in a ground bar over on one of the sides, and I think this one came with the ground bar. Yeah, looks like it. Mount grounding bar to back of enclosure. If one mounting hole and 2 nubs are provided, mount grounding bar with 2 outer mounting holes over nubs and 1 mounting screw through center mounting hole. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah. So this box is a 12 space. Sorry, I'm trying not to wiggle the camera too much. We're going to have 1 for the lights. That'll leave us 11. I did some looking, and I'm not 100% sure. You can have up to 7 fixtures per breaker, I think. And I don't know if that's 7, because we're running outlets out of this for the most part. That's what the yellow wire over there is for. And we're going to double gang our boxes, which means we'll have 2 outlets, so 2 pair side by side. 1 on this wall, 2 on this wall, maybe 3. 3 might be better. 1 on that wall, 1 there, 1 there. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 boxes total. 8 pairs of outlets. That's 16. I don't know if it is, we hates the Bagginses. I don't know if it's got to be like 7 outlets or if it can be 7 boxes. If it's 7 boxes, then we're going to be okay with 2 circuits. If it's 7 outlets, we'll need a third. And if that's the case, we'll split it up a little different. But I want to do it that way. We've got the power, we've got the amperage, we've got the cabling. We're not going to run everything on 1. So if it's 2, then we'll have 11, 10, 9. We need a double for our heater. So that leaves me with 7. If it's 3, that's going to leave me with 6. Which, more than enough. Bathroom. Since it's not really going to be a bathroom anymore, we're not going to have the water heater to worry about. We're not going to have showers to worry about. I'm not going to put there's a fan in there now. It might stay. It might come out. We will eventually need to get power to the bathroom. So before we close up all of this, I'll wire in a fixture, and we'll just run our line like we did this, just up and over, and we'll terminate it right here, or leave it. I just vacuumed. Leave it spooled, and then we can run it over and down. So lights are going to go up through the top, jog over, and I go this way, angle. Outlets are going to go down. One will come this way, and double back out of that one, do this wall, and then one's going to come down all the way around, hit this wall, this wall. This one I'm not sure how we'll do. We might not put one there. We might put it over there by the door. One should be over there. Maybe we'll do 2, 3, 1, and 1. That might be the way to go. Because doesn't really need to be one right there. I don't know what I'll put right there. But the other, we'd have to go up and over and down and over, or up and down. And that one would be by itself. So we'll figure it out. Maybe I'll just put a cabinet there, storage cabinet, bookshelves, that kind of thing. Something for my music books and the cartridges. I don't know. We'll figure it out, dude. Cool. Let's talk about this door for a minute. How to frame the door. Now, ideally, I'll finish taking all this crap off. We're going to have a footer come over, and then you double this. You have one going all the way up to here. Let's grab a visual aid. This on the floor, one here that stops there, and then you have doubled up across the top. One of these, then you have some 1/2-inch plywood, and then another one of these. And we don't have 1/2-inch plywood. That's pretty close to 1/2 inch, so we're going to use what's left of that. And then you have another one on the outside, goes all the way up. And then you have little partial ones that go from this piece to your header, and those are called cripples. I don't make the rules, but all these cutoffs that I'm saving from these, should I need any cripples, they will come from that. Because we'll need one. Don't know how we'll do that one. That's going to be real close. We'll need one over that window, and this door, and that door. We're gonna call this Super Stud 4000. I don't want to throw it away by accident, so last thing on this wall. We keep it 16, keeping it 1600. Shout out Pod Save, friends of the pod. That ain't gonna work. I could put one there. That would not break my heart. However, if I put one here, I can't put one there. Can't put one there. Can't put one there. So we might do this wall this way. Nothing says I can't. It will change how we do the door a little bit, but since this framing is not structural for the door, we can get away with doing it this way. Our electrical box will be the issue in that situation because it's going to be too shallow. So we'll have to figure that out when we get there. We'll tackle stuff like this later. The stuff that's really going to need engineering, architecturalizing, because I don't do that. Thank God for everybody. So this wall's done. We'll start this wall. Now, something else I want to... excuse me. Putting one here right up in the corner is fine. That ain't a bad idea. Because over here, I can insulate this space. If I put one over there this way, I can insulate that space. But if I put one this way and one that way, there might be a gap, there might be a corner, depending on how your studs line up. And this is, in this situation, it doesn't matter. But sometimes you might end up with just a little space about that big that you can't insulate because this one's sticking out this way and this one's sticking out this way. So in a situation like that, plan out all your stuff first. If you know you're going to run into that, finish one wall, insulate just that little bit, and then do the next bit of the wall. I've seen people have to go back and try and like get a stick and cram insulation in there just to cram it. Or they, like 4 cans of that stuff and just try and fill the thing in. If you can avoid it, try and avoid it. I understand and I realize, and I hope everybody else who's been watching these and understands this. The rules that I have to follow in this space are different than the ones you might have to follow because we're not building structure, right? That is not a wall that we just built to hold up the building. That's a frame we just built to hold drywall. That's all that has to do. Doesn't have to do anything fancy. Doesn't have to bear a load. I mean, the way I built it, it is transferring from the ceiling to the floor. So it's a little more structurally sound. In fact, I don't know if you see, I wrote my stud widths in the bays there because that's what you do. And they all scooted that way a little bit. It's fine. But it got smaller as it came in because the ceiling started to do this a little bit. So that one was 7 foot 4.5 inches. That one was 7 foot 4.5, 7 foot 4.25. So 7 foot 4.5, 7 foot 4.5, 7 foot 4.25, 7 foot 4.125, 7 foot 4.125, quarter, half. So it started to bow just a little bit. So when I cut these, I cut them all. That one's a little bit short, just a tiny, like a 1/4 inch short. So I cut them all at 7 foot 4.25, not 74. That's what happened with that one. And what I was able to do is pick up the slope where it was real low. I built that up and then I measured everything else off of that. That's why the studs are off just ever so slightly. I picked the lowest spot and I put the board in, the stud in to pick everything up, and then I built off that way after I got those 2 in. So, and that's probably what we'll do. We shouldn't have too much doing on the long runs, really. Yeah, we should be all right. Speaking of being all right, it's almost 50. Holy crap. How the time flies. I've got nothing accomplished today compared to yesterday. Part of it is because it hurts to walk. My legs, they're unhappy. They're still unhappy. And this does not take long to do. If it was something I could do in 8 foot and not have to cut every single stud, it would be a lot quicker, but that ain't how this came out. Moving on from that wall, we'll have to build around 1 window and 2 windows. I don't want to mess with that, so we might do this one next. And then I just have the 1 window. That's 46, so my stud would actually go right under this half of the window. I could put one here. Sorry. So maybe we'll put one here and here to start. We'll have one in the middle. and then we can build off the sides instead of starting at the side and then ending up with one just off a little bit here, and then this one's off a little bit, and then we don't have one here, but we've got a full one like 2 inches away here. So I think we'll do that. I think we'll put our bottom piece on, and speaking of these bottom pieces, the footers, all of these slightly longer chunks that I've got from other cutoffs I had to make when I did the floor, these work just fine. These do not have to be one continuous piece. The head didn't have to be one continuous piece, but it was just easier to make it one continuous piece when I was able. Like this one and that one. This one is 2, and that one is 2. And they meet up right behind that OSB. So that's totally fine. It's not something you can't do. Just make sure that when your 2 edges meet, that they meet pretty flush, and one's not like way out of whack like that or like that. Thanks, Mom. Because when you go to screw something to it, you don't want it to have to buckle one way or the other. So keep them as flat as you can. Anyway, I guess I'll move some crap and we'll start over here. Do I need to... Yeah, I guess we'll bust open our last can of foam. Got some on my hand. Look at that. That or leprosy. Okay, so here's what I was talking about earlier. Started in the middle. I worked this way. 16 put me right on the edge. Perfect. Started this way. 16. We're a quarter of an inch too close. So options are, we just put one there anyway. We call it good. Other option, maybe we start here, going on this wall, but then we've got that space back there. So we either do that and then our insulation's too wide. We leave it alone and we just insulate it. Then our insulation's not quite wide enough. We put one of these in it, or we go this way. And we, come off the front of this and put one so our wall can go all the way over, and then our other wall can go all the way over this way. I don't know which one I want to do. Tell you the truth, putting in another one right there in the corner is not going to hurt anything. And it's going to be so little that we'll have to compress that insulation. I'm pretty okay with it. The next thing we need to do, if we were going to do this wall correctly, is we have our short one. We'd have another one go all the way up. We have one go across there. And then we have our cripples. We'd have one on that corner, one in the middle, one on that corner. I kind of want to replace these windows. This one's probably the best one, and it's not great. So I might not do anything with that. We might just leave this wall kind of like this till we get the window replaced. And then we'll frame in around the new window. Don't know yet. I know the next thing we'll do, now that this wall is pretty much set, we'll put the saw back over there. And I think we'll start here and work up to the door. But I really probably should start there and start working this way, because that's where all the power is going to have to run. And speaking of, normally I would use a spade bit for this stuff. I've never actually used a speed bore bit, so we're going to try this to drill all the holes through our studs to run the wire through. This is a 1 inch, and this is made to just drill very fast holes very cleanly. That's the job of this. It's not a precision bit like those cheap pieces of crap I bought. This just make hole fast. And it's not a spade bit. Never used one. I love me some spade bits, but we're going to give that a try. Well, 5 to 6 and 64 degrees. 61, sorry. I guess. God, look at all that. It's terrible. So what did we accomplish today? Well, that's done. And this one's almost done. And that one's almost done. You see, I would need one right in the middle of that window. And I didn't want to do that. And to do this one, it's going to be right up against that window. Didn't want to do that right away. I did something similar to this one. I had to rip out the bottom of that sash. I think that's the sash. Window terminology, and I don't jive. God, some of these were so twisted and bowed. It's terrible. But we got one wall. We got 90% of another wall. We got 90% of another wall. And that's it. That's all the lumber. Sawhorses put away and everything. So this is done enough that I can get us outlet there. I don't have a piece long enough to do under that window. So don't know how I'll handle that yet. I'll need to buy a couple others. Studs at least. 1, 2, 3. Probably 4 there. 5, 6 there. I doubled them up in the corner there to build that out a little bit. So let's see. We'll need just as many on this wall as we have on this wall. Obviously we'll minus for the doors, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Get another one for there. 18, 19, 20. So we'll get 22. And that'll do that wall plus give me some extra. Because I still have to do the bottom over there. So maybe we better get 24. Yeah, 24 is probably good. But we don't need to, like, that wall is the last wall I'm worried about, because if there will be an outlet, it will be here. It'll be in the middle of this wall. And I can frame that anytime after this. I just want to get the power situation sorted out. Everything after that is, you know, take it on my own time kind of a thing. So let's not leave that in the window. Let's not leave that in the window. Let's unplug our mighty extension cord and wrap up for the evening. Tomorrow, maybe I'll put the lights in. They can come down and go back up if they need to. That ain't gonna be, well, they'll need to, but it ain't gonna be a big deal. And then if we do get power, doubt it'll be tomorrow, which sucks. I was hoping that'd be done this week. When we do get power, we'll be able to have light. We'll need to run for the box. I'll need to frame that. Unless I put the outlet on that wall. Or the outlet, the switch. That may not be a bad idea. It makes sense having it right there next to the door, but I mean, it's like 3 feet. Big deal. Man down. Out of beer, it must be time to go home. Oscar, oh my God. See you next time, folks.